Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Alessia and I make videos every week related to writing and publishing. So today's video is going to be on writing a novel for beginners. So I have thought of 10 steps that you can follow to write a novel. And this is perfect if you've always wanted to write a book but you have no idea where to start. Because let's be honest, writing a book is hard. But in reality, writing a book is just a series of steps that you have to follow to get to your end product. So if you're interested in learning how to write a book, then please keep watching. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. So step number 1 is to figure out the main idea of your book. So books always start out super small with a main idea, and then authors start to build on top of that until it grows into a whole complex plot. And you can take my books for example. My entire series started small with a main idea about the 4 elements. So earth, air, fire, and water. I decided that I wanted to write a book about people who could control the elements. So that is an example of a main idea. So do you want to write a book about a teenage romance? Do you want to write a book about a dystopian world? You have to figure out the main premise. And to be honest, this will probably be the hardest part, but I promise you, once you lock down your main idea, things will be so much easier and you can start to build. Step number 2 is to brainstorm. So this step is just what it sounds like. Make sure you sit somewhere quiet where no one will bother you and just dump all of your ideas about your book onto a piece of paper or onto your computer. And don't hold back, just keep writing things down and brainstorm things like the setting of the book. So where is your book taking place? Who are the main characters? What is the book's genre? So are you writing a young adult book? Are you writing a historical fiction novel? Are you writing a romance novel? Are you writing a children's book? Locking down these main things will make it much easier to continue to build a more complex plot. Step number 3 is to build your main characters. So this step is absolutely essential. You cannot skip this step and you do not want to rush it because at the end of the day, stories are all about characters. And if your readers don't care about your characters, they will not care about your book and they probably won't finish reading it. So you need to bring your characters to life, really get to know them and understand them. And the way you do this is by filling out character questionnaires. I will link some character questionnaires below in the description box, but you should figure out your character's overall personality, their motivations, their flaws, their culture, their background, anything that makes them unique and makes them who they are. In addition to understanding your character's personality, you also have to figure out what they look like. You can do a quick sketch of your character and it doesn't have to be good, but one thing that I would recommend is to go on Pinterest and to make a board of people or actors and actresses that you envision your character to look similar to. And this will help you visualize your character in your mind and will help bring them to life. You should be doing this for all of your major characters, including your villain or your antagonist. Step number 4 is to outline your book and its chapters if you're feeling super ambitious. So I know not everyone is a plotter, so plotting things and organizing doesn't come naturally to people. Some of you probably just like to start writing and just see where things go. but trust me, having some sort of outline is absolutely essential. So you need to outline things like the structure of your book. So is your book going to follow the 3-act story structure, or is your book going to follow a hero's journey? You need to figure out the beginning, the middle, the end, the key scenes, and also the rising and falling action. If you are a plotter like me, I would suggest that you go even further and outline every single chapter and what's going to happen. It doesn't have to be super detailed right away. You can always go back and add to it later, but try to figure out the beginning, middle, and end of each chapter. Number 5 is to make a writing routine. And by this step, you ideally would have planned your book or have some sort of idea of where it's going to go, which is great. But now it is time to start writing, because having an idea is wonderful, but you actually have to write the book now, which is the hard part. So you need to establish a writing routine that naturally fits into your life. So for example, where are you going to write? Are you going to write in an office? Are you going to write in your bedroom? Are you going to write in the kitchen? When are you going to write? If you're a student or if you have a 9-to-5 job, maybe you'll have to write either in the mornings or in the evenings. If you are self-employed, you have to figure out if you write best in the morning or in the afternoons, and you just have to figure out a good workflow for your personal life. Ideally, you need to take a step back and look at yourself, and you need to figure out how long you can actually write for before your brain gets really tired and you need to take a break. So for example, for me, I can write for about an hour and a half before my brain starts to go a little fuzzy and I need to take a break. So you need to establish how long you're going to write and aim for that. It is always best to write in short bursts, but you need to figure out how long you're going to write, where, and when. Number 6 is to write that first draft. So now is the time to start writing. And don't be afraid of bad writing, because first drafts always suck. It doesn't matter how good of a writer you are, first drafts are always bad. So don't be afraid to write badly. You can always go back and edit and revise it later, and it will be improved, I promise you. And make sure you are writing the book that you always wanted to read. Don't write your book just because you think it's going to make a lot of money. You have to actually love what you're writing about, because if you don't actually love what you're writing, other people probably won't either. Step number 7 is to take a break after your first draft. And take a long break. By the time you are finished writing a first draft, usually you are very burnt out creatively and you need a break to get re-inspired and to go back and look at your work with fresh eyes. So I always recommend that you take a break right after you finish your first draft. So put your first draft away, resist the temptation to look at it and edit it, and just take some time off from writing. Go get re-inspired, so read some books that you love, or go walking in nature, spend time with friends and family. Pretty much in this step, all you have to do is not write. And of course, don't forget to celebrate, because your first draft is done, which is the hardest part, and trust me, it is all uphill from here. So make sure you go do something fun, and then you will be ready to look at your book with fresh eyes, and you are more likely to catch mistakes or plot holes. I usually recommend a break time of a month, but it is really up to you and your personal life. You can take a break for 5 months if you're in no particular rush to finish your book, but a month at the minimum. Number 8 is to draft and revise. So after you have taken your break, take out your first draft and begin editing and revising it. Trust me, you will have a lot of improvements to make on your first draft, so revise, and once you have your second and third draft, then revise and edit some more. The editing process can be endless, and there is no such thing as too much editing. However, you need to know when to stop editing and to hand your work over to the professionals. So I would recommend that you do at least 5 major drafts of your book. If you want to do more, then feel free to go and do that. But at least 5 major drafts will ensure that you have thoroughly looked over your work and have improved the writing and overall quality of the novel. So step number 9 is to find unbiased beta readers to critique your work. Now, if you don't know what a beta reader is, that is totally okay, but think of beta readers as a focus group for your manuscript. So they are testing out the manuscript and seeing if it is good or if it is bad. What a beta reader is meant to do is to act as an unbiased person who will read your work and who will honestly critique it. So they will tell you if it's bad or if it's good. They will recommend that you change something or that you don't change something. And you don't have to listen to your beta readers, but because they are unbiased, they're a really important opinion and they are usually right. It is very important to find beta readers in your genre, because if you find a beta reader that hates young adult fiction and you're writing young adult fiction, then that beta reader isn't going to be very helpful for you. So you need to find beta readers that already read in the genre you are writing for. You can find beta readers all around you. It's really not that hard. You can hire beta readers on the internet, or you can find beta readers in your personal life, whether that be through colleagues or school friends or even volunteers. Make sure you diversify your beta readers and make sure they come from different backgrounds, different cultures, and different ethnicities. When you diversify your beta readers, each beta reader will bring something valuable to the table and will have their own perspective. I recommend that you have a minimum of 5 beta readers. Usually I have about 10 to 20 beta readers, but that is quite a lot. So if you are just starting out, try to aim for 5. Once your beta readers read your book, they will critique parts of your novel, and then at that point you can choose to go back and to make the changes that they recommended, or to just continue on to publishing. So this can be quite a long step. It can last for months or even up to a year. Usually my beta reader process lasts about 6 months at the minimum. Don't be afraid to take your time with your book. Trust me, the more time that you spend improving the quality of your book, the better it will be in the end. The world isn't going to explode and the book market isn't going anywhere, so make sure you take your time and properly create the best manuscript possible. Step number 10 is decide how you want to publish your book and then go from there. So once you have finished working with your beta readers, you are now ready to publish your book. The publishing world is changing every single day, and there are so many options to publish a book nowadays. You should decide if you're going to self-publish or if you're going to traditionally publish. These two options both have pros and cons. One is not better than the other. It really all depends on your book and what is right for you. I do have some videos talking about self-publishing, so I will link one up here that you can watch if you are a beginner into the self-publishing world. but make sure you do your own research. Definitely research both options thoroughly, and once you are done, you can pick one and go from there. If you do decide to self-publish, you will have to choose a self-publishing platform like Amazon KDP, and if you decide to traditionally publish, you will have to find a literary agent so that they can sell your book to a company like Scholastic. Don't forget to congratulate yourself when you get to this step. It is a huge milestone to have finished a book, and you should be proud of all of your hard work. And you have to remember that regardless if you choose self-publishing or traditional publishing, you are going to create an amazing book. So those are the 10 steps on how to write a book for beginners. These are, of course, the very basic steps that you need to follow, and I promise you, if you do some form of these 10 steps, you will end up with a manuscript. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next Monday for a brand new one. Bye!